Let me ask you something. Have you ever witnessed true strength? Not just physical strength, but the kind of power that carries generations, the kind of courage that defies oppression, the kind of resilience that refuses to be broken. That is the story of black women in history. A story of warriors, pioneers, visionaries, and leaders who have shaped the world in ways too vast to measure. Black women have never just been part of history, they have been the backbone of it. They have built, they have led, they have fought, and they have overcome. And today we don't just remember them, we celebrate them. Because without their sacrifice, without their brilliance, without their strength, the world as we know, it would not exist. When we talk about history, we cannot talk about it honestly without talking about black women. From the beginning, they have been the foundation holding families together, leading revolutions, breaking barriers, and redefining what is possible. They have carried the weight of oppression while still rising in excellence. They have turned pain into power and struggle into success. Take Harriet Tubman, a woman who risked everything for freedom. She wasn't just running from slavery, she was running toward liberation for an entire people. She went back time and time again, leading hundreds to freedom through the Underground Railroad. She wasn't just brave, she was unstoppable. Think about Sojourner Truth, who stood in rooms where women were ignored, where black people were silenced, and declared, "I ain't I a woman." She spoke truth to power and demanded that both race and gender be recognized in the fight for equality. Fast forward to Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat, not because she was tired from work, but because she was tired of injustice. That one act of defiance sparked a movement that changed the course of history. And let's not forget Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to run for president of the United States. They told her she had no chance, but she told them, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. She paved the way for black women in politics, proving that leadership has no limits. From the voices of Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison to the activism of Angela Davis and the scientific brilliance of Katherine Johnson, black women have done more than survive, they have thrived. They have broken barriers in every field: medicine, education, sports, entertainment, politics, and beyond. And let's be clear, this history is not just in the past. Black women continue to lead today. They continue to inspire. They continue to change the world. Because when a black woman steps into her power, when she knows her worth, when she refuses to be silent, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop her. So if you are a black woman, know this: you are part of that legacy. You are the continuation of greatness. Walk boldly, speak loudly, dream fearlessly, because history is not just something we look back on, it's something we create. And black women, they have been creating it all along. Black women are the backbone of history, not just a part of it. Their contributions are not footnotes or side stories, they are the foundation on which movements were built. Families were held together, and societies were shaped. Their strength, resilience, and brilliance have played a defining role in history, even when their names were not written in the textbooks. From the beginning, black women have carried the weight of the world on their shoulders. In times of slavery, they endured unimaginable pain, yet still found the strength to nurture, to protect, and to resist. Enslaved black women like Harriet Tubman did not just survive, she fought back. She escaped the chains of oppression, but she didn't stop there. She risked her life to lead others to freedom, proving that black women have always been leaders in the fight for justice. During the civil rights movement, it was black women who kept the momentum alive. We often hear about Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, but behind every great movement, there were powerful black women organizing, strategizing, and sacrificing. Rosa Parks didn't just sit down on a bus, she took a stand against injustice, sparking a movement that changed the course of history. Fannie Lou Hamer stood before the world and declared, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. forcing America to listen to the voices of the unheard. Black women have not only been warriors in activism, but they have also been pioneers in education, science, and politics. Katherine Johnson, a brilliant mathematician, helped launch NASA into space when America still refused to acknowledge the intelligence of black women. Shirley Chisholm shattered ceilings when she became the first black woman to run for president of the United States. Maya Angelou used her words to heal, to empower, and to inspire generations. Even today, black women continue to lead, innovate, and push boundaries. In business, politics, healthcare, sports, and entertainment, their impact is undeniable. From Vice President Kamala Harris making history to Serena Williams dominating the world of sports, from Oprah Winfrey changing the media landscape to Ava DuVernay reshaping storytelling in Hollywood, black women are not just part of history, they are making it every single day. But let's be clear, black women have never had it easy. They have had to work twice as hard, fight twice as long, and push through barriers that were designed to hold them back. Yet despite it all, they rise, they build, they create, they lead. Black women are the backbone of history because they have carried families, communities, and movements on their backs. They have turned pain into power, struggle into success, and obstacles into opportunities. Their contributions are undeniable, their impact is immeasurable, and their legacy is eternal. So let's stop acting like black women are just a part of history. They are history. They have shaped it. They have led it. And they continue to redefine it every single day. Resilience and courage define the legacy of black women from Harriet Tubman to modern-day leaders. Throughout history, black women have faced oppression, discrimination, and adversity, yet they have consistently risen above it all with unshakable strength. Their courage is not just about survival, it is about transformation, about turning pain into power and struggle into success. Harriet Tubman's story is one of extraordinary bravery. Born into slavery, she could have accepted her fate. But instead, she chose to fight for freedom, not just for herself, but for hundreds of others. She escaped the chains of slavery, but she did not stop there. She risked her life time and time again, leading others to freedom through the Underground Railroad. She was a woman who carried the weight of fear on her back, but never let it stop her. She is a symbol of what it means to be unbreakable. Sojourner Truth was another fearless warrior. At a time when black people were expected to remain silent, she stood up and spoke truth to power. Her famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" challenged both racism and sexism, demanding that black women be seen and heard. She traveled the country, speaking out against slavery and injustice, refusing to be ignored. Her courage paved the way for future generations of black women to claim their place in the fight for equality. During the Civil Rights Movement, black women were the backbone of change. Rosa Parks was not just a tired woman who refused to give up her seat. She was a trained activist who made a calculated decision to challenge segregation. Her simple act of defiance sparked a movement that transformed America. Fannie Lou Hamer was another fearless leader who risked everything to demand voting rights for black people. She faced brutal beatings, threats, and humiliation, yet she never backed down. When she spoke before the Democratic National Convention in 1964, her words shook the nation. "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Her courage forced America to confront the ugly truth about racial injustice. The resilience of black women did not end with the Civil Rights Movement. Today, their legacy lives on in leaders like Kamala Harris, the first black woman vice president of the United States. Despite the obstacles in her path, she shattered ceilings and proved that black women belong in the highest levels of power. Oprah Winfrey, a woman who overcame poverty and abuse, became one of the most influential figures in media and an inspiration to millions. Serena Williams, a dominant force in the world of sports, redefined what it means to be a champion facing criticism, racism, and sexism. yet rising above to become one of the greatest athletes of all time. Black women's resilience is evident in every field: business, politics, entertainment, healthcare, education, and activism. Stacey Abrams turned political loss into a movement for voter rights, ensuring that every voice is heard. Ava DuVernay, through her powerful storytelling, has changed the way the world sees Black history and culture. But let's be clear, resilience does not mean Black women should have to endure endless struggles just to prove their worth. Their courage should not come at the cost of their peace. The world must recognize their contributions, support their leadership, and ensure that their voices are heard without resistance. The legacy of Black women is one of unmatched courage. They have been the pillars of families, the leaders of movements, and the architects of change. From Harriet Tubman to modern-day trailblazers, they have carried the weight of history on their shoulders and pushed forward, refusing to let oppression define them. Their resilience is not just inspiring, it is unstoppable. Their courage is not just admirable, it is revolutionary. And the most powerful truth of all, their legacy is still being written. The next generation of Black women will continue to rise, to lead, and to change the world. Because resilience and courage are not just their history, they are their destiny. They have broken barriers in every field, proving excellence has no limits. Black women have broken barriers in every field, proving that excellence has no limits. Despite centuries of oppression, discrimination, and systemic barriers designed to hold them back, they have continuously risen above challenges, defied expectations, and set new standards of greatness. From science to politics, sports to the arts, business to activism, Black women have left an indelible mark on the world, demonstrating that talent, intelligence, resilience cannot be contained. One of the greatest examples of breaking barriers is Katherine Johnson, the brilliant mathematician who played a crucial role in NASA's space missions. At a time when Black women were not even allowed to use the same bathrooms as their white colleagues, Johnson was doing the calculations that sent astronauts into space and brought them home safely. Her work on the Apollo missions was so precise that even computers had to be checked against her math. Her excellence shattered racial and gender stereotypes, proving that Black women belong in the highest levels of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In politics, Shirley Chisholm made history as the first Black woman elected to the U.S. Congress in 1968, and later became the first Black woman to run for President of the United States. She faced racism, sexism, and doubt at every turn, but she refused to be silenced. Her campaign slogan, "Unbought and Unbossed," perfectly captured her fearless spirit. She paved the way for future leaders like Kamala Harris, the first Black woman vice president, and Stacey Abrams, who transformed voter rights and political engagement in America. In the world of sports, Serena Williams redefined what it means to be a champion. She didn't just dominate tennis, she changed it. With 23 Grand Slam titles, she has inspired a new generation of Black girls to pursue sports with confidence. She faced racism, criticism, and body shaming throughout her career. But instead of shrinking, she grew stronger. Her presence on the court proved that Black women can excel in spaces where they have historically been excluded. In business, Oprah Winfrey built an empire from nothing. She overcame poverty, childhood trauma, and endless obstacles to become the most influential media mogul in the world. As the first Black female billionaire, she has used her platform to uplift and inspire millions. Her story is a testament to the fact that Black women can not only succeed but redefine industries entirely. The arts have also been transformed by Black women. From Maya Angelou's poetry to Beyoncé's music, from Ava DuVernay's groundbreaking films to Misty Copeland's history-making career as the first Black principal ballerina at the American Ballet Theatre, Black women have shaped culture in profound ways. They have told their own stories, refused to be confined by stereotypes, and proven that creativity knows no racial or gender limits. Even in fields like medicine and education, Black women have broken through barriers. Dr. Rebecca Lee Crumpler became the first black female doctor in the U.S. in 1864, when the idea of a black woman in medicine was almost unthinkable. Today, black women continue to lead in healthcare, from Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, one of the key scientists behind the COVID-19 vaccine, to countless others working to improve medical equity. The legacy of black women breaking barriers is not just about individual success, it is about opening doors for those who come after them. Every milestone achieved is a step toward a future where black women are recognized, respected, and empowered in every industry. They have shown the world that excellence is not limited by race or gender. But let's be clear, black women should not have to work twice as hard to prove themselves. Their greatness should not be met with resistance, nor should their success be an exception to the rule. It is time for the world to recognize that black women do not just deserve a seat at the table, they have built the table, designed the blueprint, and led the way. There are no limits to black women's excellence. The barriers they have broken are proof that nothing is impossible when resilience, talent, and determination come together. The future belongs to those who dare to dream beyond society's restrictions. And black women have already proven that they will not only dream it, they will achieve it. The fight for equality is ongoing, and black women continue to lead the charge. Throughout history, they have been at the forefront of social justice movements, breaking barriers, challenging oppressive systems, and demanding justice for their communities. Their leadership, resilience, and determination have been instrumental in shaping policies, transforming societies, and inspiring future generations. Yet despite their undeniable contributions, black women have often been overlooked, underestimated, and forced to fight twice as hard for the recognition they deserve. But they have never backed down. They have never stopped pushing forward, and they never will. Black women have always been a driving force for change. From the abolitionist movement to the civil rights movement to today's fight for racial and gender equality, they have refused to remain silent in the face of injustice. Harriet Tubman didn't just escape slavery, she risked her lifetime and time again to lead others to freedom. Sojourner Truth stood before crowds of men and declared her worth with the powerful words, "Ain't I a woman?" Rosa Parks sparked a nationwide movement with a single act of defiance, refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus. Fannie Lou Hamer fought for voting rights, reminding the world that nobody's free until everybody's free. These women were not just participants in history, they were leaders, revolutionaries, and trailblazers. But the fight didn't end in the 1960s. Today, black women continue to lead the charge for justice in every arena. In politics, they are reshaping the landscape, ensuring that marginalized voices are heard. Kamala Harris made history as the first black woman vice president of the United States, breaking barriers that once seemed impossible. Stacey Abrams transformed voter engagement in Georgia, proving that grassroots activism can shift the balance of power. Congresswoman Cori Bush, a former activist, took her fight for justice from the streets to the halls of Congress, showing that real change happens when fearless leaders refuse to be silenced. In the fight for social justice, black women remain on the front lines. Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi co-founded the Black Lives Matter movement, igniting a global call for justice against police brutality and systemic racism. Tarana Burke started the Me Too movement, giving a voice to survivors of sexual violence, particularly women of color, who had been ignored for too long. These women have refused to accept oppression as the status quo. They have demanded change, and the world has been forced to listen. Black women are not just fighting for equality in activism and politics, they are breaking barriers in every industry. In business, they are creating opportunities where none existed before. Oprah Winfrey became the first black female billionaire, using her platform to inspire and uplift millions. Bozoma St. John is redefining corporate leadership, proving that black women belong in executive boardrooms. In science and technology, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett played a key role in developing the COVID-19 vaccine, saving lives worldwide. In sports, Serena Williams and Simone Biles have shattered records and redefined greatness, proving that black women are unstoppable. The fight for equality is not just about success, it's about dismantling the barriers that still exist. Black women continue to face wage gaps, discrimination, and systemic biases in education, healthcare, and in the workplace. They are often expected to be strong, to endure, to fight, but they deserve more than just survival. They deserve justice, opportunity, and recognition. That is why they continue to lead the charge, not just for themselves, but for future generations. And let's be clear, black women should not have to carry the burden of change alone. The world must listen, support, and uplift their voices. Their contributions should not be an afterthought or an exception to the rule. They are innovators, leaders, and visionaries who have shaped history and continue to shape the future. The fight for equality is ongoing. But if history has taught us anything, it's that black women are unstoppable. They have carried movements, challenged oppression, and demanded a better world. They have led with courage, with resilience, and with love. They are not just fighting for equality, they are redefining it. And they will not stop until justice is more than just an idea, but a reality for all. Every black woman today carries the power of those who came before. Own it, embrace it, and build upon it. The strength, resilience, and brilliance of black women have been woven into the very fabric of history. From the women who fought for freedom, equality, and justice to the modern-day leaders who continue to break barriers, the legacy of black women is one of power, courage, and unshakable determination. This power is not just something to admire, it is something to claim, to embrace, and to build upon for the generations to come. The legacy of black women is one of survival and triumph. Despite centuries of oppression, they have continued to rise, proving time and time again that they are more than capable of overcoming adversity. Harriet Tubman did not just escape slavery, she went back again and again to lead others to freedom. Sojourner Truth stood in rooms filled with men and declared her worth. Ida B. Wells fought against racial violence with her pen, exposing the truth when the world tried to silence her. These women were fearless, determined, and relentless in their pursuit of justice. Their stories are not just history lessons, they are reminders that black women today carry the same fire, the same resilience, the same undeniable power. That power lives in every black woman today. It lives in the young girl who dares to dream beyond the limitations placed on her. It lives in the professional woman breaking barriers in industries where she was never meant to succeed. It lives in the activists, the educators, the mothers, the entrepreneurs, the artists, and the healers who pour into their communities, lifting others as they rise. It lives in you. But the question is, are you owning it? Are you embracing it? Are you building upon it? To own the power of those who came before means to recognize your worth and refuse to shrink yourself for anyone. Too often, black women are told to be quieter, to take up less space, to make themselves more palatable, fit into a world that was not built for them. But history has shown us that black women were never meant to be silent or invisible. You were meant to lead, to create, to inspire, and to stand boldly in who you are. Own your brilliance, your beauty, and your strength. The world needs you to be exactly who you were created to be. To embrace the power of those who came before means to stand tall in the face of adversity. Black women have always had to fight harder, work longer, and prove themselves in ways that others never had to. And yet they continue to rise. When obstacles come, when the world tries to tell you that you are not enough, remember who you come from. Remember that you are the descendant of women who refuse to be broken. You are the manifestation of their prayers, the embodiment of their strength. Embrace that truth and let it guide you. And to build upon the power of those who came before means to push forward, to create change, to pave the way for those who will come after you. Black women today are making history in real time. Kamala Harris shattered barriers as the first black woman vice president. Stacey Abrams changed the political landscape with her work in voter rights. Serena Williams and Simone Biles redefined excellence in sports. Ava DuVernay and Issa Rae are telling black women's stories in ways they've never been told before. These women are not just living in the footsteps of those before them, they are forging new paths, building new legacies, and ensuring that the next generation has even more opportunities. You too are part of this legacy. Whether you are leading a movement, raising a family, building a business, mentoring young women, or simply refusing to let the world define you, you are continuing the story of black excellence. Every choice you make to stand in your truth, to uplift others, to challenge injustice, to pursue your dreams is a step forward. So do not let doubt, fear, or society's expectations hold you back. Own your power. Embrace your history. Build upon the foundation laid by the women who came before you, because you are not just carrying their legacy, you are expanding it. And the world is waiting for you to rise.